Hello. Hello, this is the My Artifact episode number 3351. Today's date is 6th of March 2025. It's been almost like a night at 10 p.m. Okay, so okay, I need to say a couple of things. Okay, what are those? First of all, is that ki I don't know how do I supposed to say, like basically this thing na ki okay, let's start from the beginning. Okay, like basically if I wanted to say something na, I have to express everything regarding about stuff. Okay, let's talk about stuff. Okay, in short, okay, so at 11th of February 2015 I started recording a self-talk artifact episode. Okay, things that you are actually hearing is called self-talk artifact episode. It's a kind of like a something self-talk, kind of like a something journaling, or kind of like a something a diary. Oh yeah, a diary that you could write every single day. This is kind of like a something a similar mechanism, but instead of writing I am kind of like a recording stuff. Okay, yeah, which is really cool. I am doing this thing for almost like a decade, every single day. Okay, every single day I used to record such thing. Okay, last year, okay, first of all, because of this journaling, I realized myself a lot regarding about myself, regarding about me, regarding about everything. Like this process, this kind of like a some self talk is kind of like a something connect me with myself a very deeper level, understanding regarding about life, purpose, and like that na ki it's like really amazing thing. Okay, yeah, and like I don't know, it's like like basically this thing, because of this thing I am getting lot of advantages in my life. Advantages, like basically it's not kind of like a something advantage, it's a kind of like a something that key a satisfaction from the life. Okay, what I want, what I think, what it's just I don't know how do I supposed to say. It's a kind of like a something that I'm getting which is like really incredible, that I don't know how do I supposed to express this thing in the word. Okay, last year, last year I thought that ki what if the experience that I am getting because of this artifact, if I could share that method to the people, means like that ki if I could kind of like tell to the people that ki they should supposed to be record their artifact and talk about things and something like that. But it just problem is that na ki they will not gonna do that thing. Why? Reason is that ki it's it's like that na, it's not okay, it's like that na ki for doing such a thing, doing this kind of like a self-talk recording video, recording audio, it really required a kind of like a something want, a kind of like a something that urges to do that thing. Okay, and basically this kind of like a technique is a really new and really kind of like a some, I'm not really sure that ki like basically this thing how I started recording this thing is because of that ki there is some certain situation is actually happened with myself. I'm not going to talk about this thing like I mentioned previously in so many times in artifact, so I'm going to talk about that. But there is some certain bad thing is actually happened inside of me, and I wanted to share that moment with someone else, but I don't really have anyone, so I started recording such a thing in this audio file. Okay, yeah, so basically is this thing na ki last year I decided that ki what if I could create a kind of like a something app so that people would kind of like a something record their artifact. Okay, yeah, but problem is that na ki why does people will record such thing. Okay, yeah, it's really required some sort of urges to record that thing. Urges means a kind of like a something a purpose, like a kind of like a something reason that why they should supposed to be record their kind of like a something self thing on this app. It's why. Okay, why. Okay, they really required some sort of reason. Okay, yeah, so first of all is that ki I have to figure it out that ki how does people will kind of like a something talk. Okay, how does kind of like a something people communicate. I have to figure it out this thing first. Okay, then I went to the app. So Basically from from last 2 days, okay, I decided to kind of try to communicate with the people. Okay, yeah. Why? Because of that, I just wants to know what does people thinks about stuff. Okay, yeah. So a couple of days ago, I was kind of started communicating with my friend Prashik. Okay, yeah, like asking bunch of questions regarding about life, things, what you want, what is actually like a purpose of your life, what is actually your crushes, the person that you like, वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह. Okay, yeah. While I was talking with that particular person, my friend Prashik, I kind of suddenly find so much stuff. Okay, yeah, regarding about how does people talk. Okay, yeah. First of all, is that key? It depends on the relevant subject. Okay, like first of all, I ask question regarding about scientific, like why the planets and star are circle, why are they are sphere. Okay, he kind of giving the answer, but the response was really not that good. That means he was not really interested in those scientific giving the answer and stuff like that. Okay, yeah. Then I ask a casual question regarding about the film, the five film that you recommend for the people, like which five film are the one of the best that you could recommend to the people. His interest was almost maybe 40%. Yeah, basically if I ask scientific question, the interest of giving the answer is 10%. Okay, 10 or 15%. When I ask casual question regarding about recommend the five movies, in that particular answer his interest was almost like a 40 to 50%, 40 to 45% max. Okay, yeah. Then I ask a question regarding our personal, basically this thing I ask that key, what is actually good thing that you did for the people. Okay, yeah. It's a personal question, so he was actually talking very interestedly. Okay, yeah. At that time his interest basically this is kind of a something question that I asked 2 days ago, and his interest was almost like a 70-75%. Okay, yeah. Then today I ask another question that key, how many crushes that you have, who are those crushes, like a crushes means like that person that you like. Okay, yeah. So who are those crushes that you kind of like some sort of person, or yeah. So when he was actually talking about that particular topic, his interest was almost like a high, yeah, almost like a 90-95%. But he was actually talking about stuff in detail, stuff like that. Okay, yeah. So regarding about such information that I get, I should supposed to talk more regarding about personal and relationship questions. Okay, yeah. Like how do you look yourself as a kind of like a something a perfect boyfriend, husband, वगैरह वगैरह, or relationship, or kind of like a personal question. I should supposed to be asked those questions so that his interest is almost like a 75 to 90%. Okay, yeah. And he has to be kind of like a something on the peak. I want it to be kind of like a something get him on the peak, so that he was kind of like eager to ask, eager to talk about stuff and stuff like that. Why I am communicating with this Prashik? Okay, why am I communicating with this thing? First of all, is that na ki I have to know that why does people are talking. Okay, yeah. I need a kind of like a something reason, and each person has a kind of like a something very different uh, thought process. Like example is this thing ki I usually want to talk regarding about everything. Basically I am kind of like a used to with this thing. Every question that I ask, I try to analyze the question and I give some sort of opinion regarding about that. Okay, yeah. But if I'm kind of like a trying to know about myself, what is actually my interest rate. So regarding about the scientific question, my interest rate is almost like a 70-75. Yeah, like okay. Regarding about the relationship, love and things like that, my interest rate is almost like a cross 80. Okay, 80-85. Okay. Regarding about personal, personal means like that ki your family, your people around you, वगैरह वगैरह. Then I talk like mostly 60 to 70%. Okay, yeah. What is a kind of like a something, a topic that you don't want to talk? Okay, like don't just what are those topics? Um, in my opinion, I think that ki, uh, regarding about my parents. Okay, yeah, like I'm still really hesitate to talk about my parents, like my parents situation and this and that. Why? Because I am kind of like a something think that ki these are my parents and I shouldn't supposed to be talk in this public platform. So yeah. Okay. So, and if anyone is kind of like a something communicating with me face to face regarding about the parents, then I also not really talk that much. Okay, yeah, like I used to say that ki, yeah, my parents are good and everything's good, but I'm not really kind of like a went that much deep because of that ki I feel that ki talking about, I don't know, yeah, I just don't wanted to touch it. Okay, yeah. So this is what kind of like a something my interest regarding about giving the answer. Okay, yeah. So the Prashik is a kind of like a something person. I ask couple of questions, yeah, like basically from 2 days I was kind of like asking him question, and regarding about the span of timing that I get with him, like basically we usually went to work out together. So since we get almost like a 2-3 hour, so in 2-3 hour I usually ask kind of like a some couple of questions. Okay, yeah. So this is kind of like a something my results are ki Prashik is kind of like a something very good at, his interest rate is kind of like a something really good at relationship and personals. Okay, yeah, like love, relationship and personal questions. Okay, yeah. So but I have to be talk with him, like basically I shouldn't supposed to be judged at this moment. Important thing is that ki I just have to figure it out, that ki just communicate. Okay, yeah. But not only just a Prashik. Okay, yeah, I have to be talk with the multiple peoples. Okay, yeah, and I have to be get more and more data regarding about how does people communicate. Okay, yeah. But in this particular process now I shouldn't supposed to be used as a like a telephone medium or a smartphone medium. No, there is only the things that you should supposed to do with a face to face, like the person who is kind of like a simply in you in person. Okay, a face to face, only that particular situation you have to talk with that particular, you shouldn't supposed to be communicate through phone and WhatsApp, nothing really at all, it's really not that good. Okay, yeah. So at this moment Prashik is the only person that I am kind of like a meeting him face to face. So yes, I will gonna talk about stuff. Okay, yeah. But whenever I will get kind of like a somebody person, so that I would gonna talk. So yeah, I think that na ki I have to be build up my communication as good as possible as I can. Why? Because of that na ki um, I don't know. Like basically this thing na, I know Prashik since standard second. Like basically is this thing in my whole life, like my age is almost like a 31. Okay, yeah, and I know Prashik since the age of 7. So that means I know him since at the 20 27 29 20, like more than 25 years. Like I know Prashik more than 25 years. Okay, yeah. But today, today I talked with him like last 2 days when I was actually talking to him. I kind of like a something realization is actually happened. This is the kind of like a something new Prashik. Like it's a something that ki the information that I get from him was kind of like a something very unique that I didn't really knew it. Okay, yeah, like basically what kind of like a girl he used to like when he talk in his engineering college, his roommate kind of like a lot of fucked up thing is actually happened with the roommate in his, it's a lot of thing he mentioned all the stories, and it's kind of like a something a new person that I'm kind of like a seeing. Okay, I'm kind of like a looking. So what I'm trying to tell you, each person is see the world in very different way. Okay, yeah. And probably uh, I'm talking about the perspective in this particular situation. Each person is a kind of like a looking the world in very different perspective. Okay, yeah. I when I try to listen Prashik's perspective regarding about his life, what exactly happened, his illness, health issues, and everything. I figure it out that his perspective is a kind of like a something very different. Okay, yeah. I wanted to know more and more perspective regarding about what does people think regarding about that and that and that. Okay, so I have to be communicate more and more people. Okay, but how do I do that? Okay, yeah. Uh, okay, first thing is that I only have to communicate with the people who is face to face. Okay, yeah. So in the face to face communication, I am actually communicating with person with really lot big deep connection. Like a deep connection is actually happen when you communicate with the person face to face. So Prashik is the only one that I have at this moment. Okay. Then Rahul is also available, but Rahul is also my friend. But still, he was quite and busy regarding about his office and things that. So yeah, like basically is this thing na ki whenever the situation came, whenever such kind of like assembly situation, it definitely gonna come. You have to be talk with that particular person regarding about such questions and things like that, and try to analyze that his perspective, what is actually his way. Okay, his way or her way. Okay, so that yeah. And also I am kind of like also analyzing myself that key I am trying to be as good as communicating. Okay, like basically is this thing now. What's a communication? Communication is not just kind of like a somebody talk. It also kind of like a somebody listen. Means like that ki usually if you wanted to communicate with the people, 60% is a listen, 40% is a talk. Okay, yeah. If you are just a talk, that means you are just doing 40% of communication. If you are listening, that means 60%. Okay, yeah. And when you listen, then you talk. So then it kind of like a somebody happen 100% communication. So um I have to be listen more. Okay, yeah, and listen about his point of perspective, other people point of perspective, and yeah. So I don't know how it goes, but all right, let's figure it out. Let's find out that key. Okay, yeah. But ask bunch of questions to the Prashik. Okay, yeah. Talk deep and deep and deep and deep. All right. Okay, yeah. But why is this for? Why is this kind of like assembly communication is really essential? Well, okay, I wanted to making an app which is kind of like a simply doing the same thing that I'm doing right now, like a recording artifact episode. Okay, yeah, I do record artifact is because of that I have purpose, I have some certain thing, and I am kind of like a used to with this particular process because I am doing this thing for last 10 year. Okay, yeah, and which is kind of like a simply very incredible process, and I realize myself a lot. It's like a really lot of thing, blah 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 blah. I mention about stuff regarding about what is actually happened because of artifact. I mention a lot of things. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna talk about that. Okay, the important thing is that I trust this process, this method, this thing, because maybe I invented that thing. I'm not really sure that who does people who kind of like a do such a thing, but right now it's a kind of like a unique method or process that I am the only one who is kind of like a doing this thing on the entire planet. Probably, like maybe some sort of scientific people are kind of like a recording such thing for scientific purpose, but it's not the artifact. It's a kind of like something log. What's a log? Okay, yeah. A log means like that ki a scientific person or scientific people when they kind of like a researching, it's a they didn't really have that much kind of like a something a time to talk about their journal, talk about thoughts and things like that. Like whatever the research is actually happened, they just talk regarding about stuff and they record their voices. They call it as a log video. Okay, sorry, log video. They talk about stuff and stuff. It's a kind of like a something different. The method that I'm doing, it's a kind of like a something understanding about life, person, myself. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, at this moment I'm not really sure, but I think that the communication has to be happen. Okay, if I wanted to execute this app, I have to be find a kind of like a something reason and different people perspective and get some sort of information regarding about why does people are eager to talk. Okay, yeah. If I know that particular thing, then yeah. All right, this is it. This is it. I should supposed to be end here. And thank you.